Have you ever stopped to think that some deaths in fiction hurt more than certain real losses in our own lives? It's not an exaggeration. It's because we spend years living alongside these characters. We laughed with them, we rooted for them, and when the story decides their time has come, the gut punch arrives without warning. Fred Weasley was one of those. From the very first moment he appears on platform 9 3/4, you can feel it. This guy is something else. He and George were like a single heart split between two bodies. Every joke they cracked was a relief. Every wild invention from Weasley's wizard wheezes was proof that even in a world full of fear, it was possible to choose lightness. While Voldemort was spreading terror, Fred and George fought back with laughter. While the Ministry tried to silence everyone, they blew up the school on purpose and flew away on their brooms like two kings. And the crowd in the stands cheered because people needed that, needed someone who refused to bow their head. But J.K. Rowling knew exactly what she was doing. She built Fred as the character who seemed untouchable, the one you never imagined leaving, because characters like him don't die, right? They stay. They're there at the end, making you smile. And then comes the Battle of Hogwarts, the chaos, the noise, the walls coming down. And in the middle of it all, an explosion. A wall collapses, and Percy, the brother who had spent years distant, who had traded his family for a career, was standing right there with Fred in that moment. They had just made peace. Fred had laughed. The last expression on his face was a smile. Then, nothing. George lost half of himself in that instant. Not as a metaphor, literally. They had a language only they understood, a shared way of thinking, a history that no one else could grasp the way they grasped each other. And suddenly, silence. An absence that doesn't have a proper name, and we feel it right alongside them. Because Fred's death isn't just the death of a funny character, it's the end of lightness. It's the world saying war has a price, and it collects without mercy, even from the ones who make everyone laugh. There's a poetic cruelty in that. The character who fought hardest against the weight of the world was the first one the weight of the world took away. Rowling didn't write this by accident. She wanted to show that real war spares no one, that the hero can be the funniest person in the room, that the most brutal loss can come precisely at the moment when hope starts to appear. And George went on. He had children. He named one of them Fred, but he was never quite the same. He couldn't be. How was anyone the same after losing their other half? Fred Weasley's death is one of the most impactful in all of fantasy literature. Not because it was spectacular, not because it came with a grand final speech, but precisely because it had none of that. It was quick. It was unfair. It happened in the middle of a smile. And maybe that's exactly what makes it feel so real, so human. Life doesn't wait for you to finish laughing before it comes to collect. So here's a question to take with you. If Fred Weasley, knowing everything, still chose to laugh until the very end, what does that say about how you're choosing to live your days right now?